Oh, hey you. It's Kat and Steve with the Positively Midwest podcast.
Well, hello there. Now, before this next episode, let's talk about sharing our mission.
To help, we have hooked up with Anchor.fm to help us keep launching Positively Midwest to as many ears as possible. The more we expand our reach, the more lives we can help inspire.
If you haven't heard of Anchor, it is the easiest way to make a podcast. Bonus, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Well, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google, and many more.
You can make money with no minimum listenership, which helps our cause.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in just one place.
So go now, download free Anchor app or go to anchorapp.fm to get started.
Now, sit back and enjoy the next episode of the Positively Midwest podcast. Yellow! Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Positively Midwest. My name is Steve Jerns, and across from me, as always, is my lovely wife, Catherine.
How do I follow that up?
I don't know. I went, hey-o, and then right down into something smooth. So this episode is all about Catherine and all the other mommies out there, because this is Positively Midwest's mommy episode, and we're going to talk a bit about positivity in motherhood, how difficult that can be, how valid that is, and nobody has any right to judge anything like that whatsoever, but moms have a special, they have special crap to put up with sometimes, and I thought, well, how about at the last minute we record an episode about how moms can cultivate positive emotions, and you can talk about some of your mommy things, and, you know, do what we do.
On the fly.
Yeah. Like that?
Happy Mother's Day to all of those out there that are mothers.
Yeah, even though this will come out the week after Mother's Day, who knows when you'll listen to it? You might listen to it 10 years from now. So it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
The podcast I listen to, they're all over the board for when it happened. So, anyways, we've talked in the past about some of the childhood issues that I grew up with. And so, you know, I can't help but wonder, yesterday for us was actually Mother's Day, as we're recording this on a Monday. And, you know, when we talk about true compassion and true empathy and things like that, I talked to Catherine and I said I can't help but wonder whether it is difficult for my mom on a day like that, or what kind of things, emotions she might go through. But we just know right now it's not a healthy time to tackle that situation. So, anyways, we think we had a pretty good day. Got our personal stuff rocking and rolling. Then we went out to your mommy's. And then there's a lot of mommies at your mommy's. And that's always different for me because, you know, you guys have such a close family and all the good stuff. But then we went to my dad's and my stepmommy and my dad's mommy and my stepmom's mommy was out there. So you had the wonderful idea of...
and your sister who's a mommy.
Yeah, sister mommy. And then get some plants for all the mommies and the Grammys, and that was a nice little hit. Got a couple succulents; those were neat. And then we did our thing there, and then we hugged everybody when we left, including my dad, which that was probably the first time I think we've hugged since maybe my 30th birthday. I don't know, maybe here and there, not sure. Just felt like it's been a really long time. So that's going to be something that's going to continue to develop. And, of course, I'm going to take Positively Midwest on the road in my mind as those things happen. So, mommies, I said, you know what would be good? We have a very important guest/message that will be coming out very soon, probably in the next episode or two. And so already I thank him for this courage and so on. But I said, let's put this off a week because you mommies deserve some love, extra love from the PM fam. So I am going to maybe start into this little article, and then we'll pause at times and let Mommy Cat get in there. A lot of mommies in this episode.
Oh boy.
You could count all the mommies in this episode and do whatever you want with it.
You want me to count the mommies?
No, you in general. Listeners.
Those listening.
You can make it maybe if you're a Lamprey fan and you jumped on board, you can make it a drinking game. You can make it, however many times you said mommy, that's how many things I have to find gratitude for.
Ooh, I like that one.
How many minutes I have to meditate. How many laps I have to do around the yard, the house, run, the block. Get creative.
Boost those endorphins.
Yeah, and I hope it's something physical or mental based, because I'm going to throw a lot of mommies. Then you have to do it. And if you ran, that's a lot of mommies right there. So how moms can cultivate positive emotions by Miriam Abdullah. This is from the greatergood.berkeley.edu website. Also where I've been taking some of those online courses, so I do find a lot of really good material. But stress can undermine our best parenting intentions, but new research suggests a way to reduce its impact. So obviously this is from their perspective. So I was looking at Mother's Day cards recently and found a couple that made me chuckle. One suggested a cape as a gift for a supermom. I happen to like that idea now. Look out for that. Surprisingly. The other, Gianna said to me when we came inside, because we were video gaming, I have an Xbox 360, and it's the game I bought. It's 12 years old, but playing it. And so she sat out there and watched me for a bit. And then we come inside because of Erilyn come out to the garage. That's where the game is. And goes, hey, the oven's beeping like crazy. I'm like, just push buttons and make sure nothing's burning. So we came in a few minutes later. Everything was fine. I'm cutting it up. And Gianna goes, Erilyn looks a little more like you, but I'm definitely a lot more like you. Like, I like the things that you like. And like superheroes and, games. And I'm like, whatever else is top of mind right now. But that's fairly accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So
does that mean Erilyn is more like me, even though she doesn't look like me?
Well, I guess. Yeah.
I think,
they go back and forth.
If we're going to talk about something of a mommy, is I think when you have two daughters and their entire lives, all you've ever heard is, oh, they look like Steve. And that your kids don't look like you. It's kind of like okay, thanks.
Yeah. No, Gianna certainly, I think, looks like your side more, here and there. But their personalities do jump around between both of ours. So now I've learned to pay attention to the positive ones. And then you see the negative ones, which I think frustrate us because we think, well, we just inherited those. What? Whatever. Gave those to those kids, our bad habits or whatever. But now that we're on this track, we're going to be part of turning that all around, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, be the change, be the light. New merch just dropped today. That's going to go through May 23rd, 2021. Who knows what's out if you're listening to this in 2030. But that one's going for a couple weeks if you're somebody that listens every week. So, positivelymidwest.com, online store. Click. The other had a presidential seal for the mom in chief. Their common theme, the idea that moms need nerves of steel. Motherhood brings incomparable joys, but without a superpower or the full staff that comes along with the top job of the executive branch, some moments can be overwhelming. Indeed, a recent study of over 260 French mothers found that 20% of them reported maternal burnout. What helps? You can't always avoid stress, but a new study by Cynthia Smith and Alice Steffens suggests that cultivating positive emotions may buffer moms from its impact on their parenting. The study included almost 100 mothers, mostly European American, married, and college educated. At 2 time points, once when the children were 4 to 5 years old, and again 4 years later when they were 8 to 9 years old. When children were younger, moms completed questionnaires about their parenting stress, and the researchers measured positive emotions as they observed mom and child at play. At both younger and older ages, Smith and Steffens, because it's a PH, so that's what I'm guessing, right, also measured how sensitive moms were to their children, the degree to which moms responded appropriately to their children's signals during play. Here's what they found. Highly stressed moms of preschoolers were less likely to be sensitive toward their kids 4 years later, if they also demonstrated lower positive emotions during play, but high positive emotions seemed to mitigate this link. Among happier moms, stress and parental sensitivity were not related. This difference suggests that high positive emotions act as a protective buffer. What's more, the levels of positive emotions kids showed with their moms were not associated with the mom's parenting sensitivity, which suggests that mom's feelings were not merely a reflection of their children's. Why would this be the case? Positive emotions allow individuals to build up more resources over time, write Smith and Steffens. Despite reported feelings of stress, mothers who were higher in positive emotions may have been able to draw on these resource reserves when interacting with their children. Many studies echo this finding. In a recent review of the research, Barbara Fredrickson and Thomas Joyner sum up the science to date. Momentary experiences of mild, everyday positive emotions broaden people's awareness in ways that, over time, with their frequent reoccurrence, build consent. Oh, this is a big word. You better look at it, honey. I can't even say it. Consequential. I just couldn't read it well. I think even I turned red in this one. Build consequential personal resources that contribute to their overall emotional and physical well-being. You know what we should do is have a podcast where I have to read a lot, even though I do it myself.
I thought we do.
Yeah, that was a joke. Although parenting stress may be ever present, this research suggests that building up positive emotional reserves helps moms to support their kids without sacrificing their individual well-being. But how can they do that? Here are some suggestions. And here's where I want you to come in. Number 1, cherish the good times. In a 2015 study, Margaret Burkhart and colleagues found that Relational Savoring, that is, deeply focusing on positive moments shared between parents and children, increased parents' good feelings in their relationship quality with children. How does relational savoring work? According to the study's instructions, begin by thinking about a positive emotional experience you have had with your child. This could be something as simple as going to the park together or laughing over a funny joke. Or it could be something as major as taking a vacation or accomplishing a big task together. You should try to focus on a memory of a specific time when things were at their best between you and your child. Next, write about the details, the weather, the time of day, clothing both you and your child were wearing, your emotions, and your thoughts both then and now. At the end, spend a couple of minutes mentally reliving the memory. What do you think of that?
I like it. I was just reliving the memory from last week.
Well, I saw you kind of lurch forward and put your shoulders back, and then you kind of tilt your head down and to the side a little, which is in a mentally engaging Catherine move to practice something mental.
Yeah. It is. It's that one-on-one time with your children. Especially if you have more than one, sometimes it's just like, you're doing group activities all the time. You need to make sure that you're scheduling one-on-one time with them. One, to make them each separately feel unique and special. So, because sometimes there can be that sibling rivalry. Okay. Number 2, it is creating that bond with each separate child. Like when we have our firstborn, we get that bonding moment of that firstborn child, right? And then sometimes when you have your next one, you don't get that full on quite as significant bonding moment because you're still busy chasing the first one and now you have this newborn. And so as that goes on, sometimes it just kind of depletes the, that one-on-one moment, especially when they're newborns. So as they get older, make sure you're taking time for one-on-one different day dates or night dates with your kids. So, Gianna, while the kids are at dance, I have one and then I have the other. Gianna loves going to every different park in Watertown. We'll go play for like a few minutes and we switch and go see what other parks have, and so we do that, or we sit and we laugh, or we go and we wander a store looking at things, sit and cuddle and watch a TV show. It's creating those one-on-one moments of your bonding to savor, as they say, that memory.
Well, I think they're also talking here about having a gratitude moment. So keep in mind, these are situations that you maybe feel yourself getting frustrated or starting to lose a little bit of control or getting a little negative, so cherishing the good times, puts you in a mindset. Just like when we talk about practicing gratitude, this is just a parental gratitude moment because it's specifically based on your children. So one that I'm starting to thoroughly enjoy. Number 2, meditate. One way that individuals might prioritize positivity within their daily routines is by maintaining a regular meditation practice, writes Barbara Fredrickson and colleagues in a recent study of people who attended workshops in either mindfulness meditation or loving kindness meditation. Even weeks later, participants felt more positive emotions than they had before. And there's links within some of this too, so I'll post the actual link for the article in the description. It makes sense that either of these two meditations may work to capture moments of positive emotions because mindfulness involves paying careful attention to the present moment, and living kindness aims to self-generate warm and friendly feelings. We've meditated once together. I've done maybe 10 now. I use the Insight timer. There seems to be a lot of free ones on there. But so I'll search through every so often when I've got time, and there's specific ones for overeating. There's specific ones for breathing, for and then parenting, positive parenting, especially when you're overloaded. So there's those out there too, and I haven't done one of those yet. So that could be a good practice that maybe we try together. But I don't know how you felt about the meditation when we did it.
I liked it. I've listened to a few of the different meditation ones. I can't remember the app, but you definitely have to try a few different ones because you have to have the right speaker. I really feel that makes a big difference if you're like going to be able to fully relax and get into it, is based upon the tone of the voice of who is speaking. So I think that is a big thing for me.
I would concur.
But also, like, I get a little bit of that meditation when I'm doing yoga, especially depends upon which yoga session I'm doing, because some of those are really about mindfulness to your breath, your movement, all of those different things. So it's like, even if you're not just sitting doing the full meditation, there's different forms out there.
Yeah, definitely. I think more than anything, meditation means to have a mindfulness practice. So you have to, just try to be quiet and just breathe. And if you find yourself thinking about your mind wandering and other things, then, think about it for a minute, but don't judge it. Don't worry about it, and just let that thought pass. And at some point, start bringing your mindset and your thought process back to just you breathing. And you'd be surprised how those thoughts just kind of go away. It's not like they go away to where you don't think about it later or something, but you can have a more focused, almost prioritize your mind in a sense. So
it's you can even do it with just calming music. You don't even have to have one speaking to you. Calming music, shutting the eyes, good posture, or laying flat on your back. And it just helps to relax everything. And that's kind of just helps to clear your mind.
So number 3, they go into give thanks for the small stuff. In a recent research review on the science promoting strengths and resilience among single moms, Zoe Taylor and Rand Conger encourage gratitude practices as a way to cultivate strengths of the heart. You know, words like months and strengths are always weird words to me.
There's a lot of weird words out there to me.
With the enunciation, usually if I'm just talking about how many months is that? Mm-hmm. What's your strength? Mm-hmm. Anyway, keeping a gratitude journal in which to write about small or big gifts in your life for which you are thankful may be one way to enhance feelings of positive emotions. Rather than a list of many things, write about a few specific interactions with people for which you feel thankful. These may include tender moments with your children. Aim to make routine gratitude journal entries occasionally, at least once a week. Another greeting card had a picture of a mom lying down for a nap on the couch with a message inside that said, "Time to relax and enjoy Mother's Day. This is my wish for you mothers as well." So that article will be available out there. I also checked in a little bit further and went to workingmomsbalance.com. And there's an article, How Positive Psychology Can Help Working Moms. I'm not going to go through this whole article, which it is pretty good, but they go through and they explain to you what is positive psychology, how did positive psychology get its start, how can positive psychology benefit my life. But there was a major concept in here called the PERMA model, PERMA, which was a concept made by Martin Seligman. Just kind of an acronym for the the 5 facets that make up a life of well-being and flourishing. So P is for positive experiences and emotions. While there will always be negative parts of life and negative, uncomfortable emotions can be helpful, it is important to have a balance. A good life must include positive emotions and an appreciation of positive experiences. And I think you really have to have those negative things happen to you, to realize that, so obviously ice, right? Ice is really, really cold. It can be very dangerous. You can fall through the ice. You could die. There's a lot of negatives to ice, right? Mm-hmm. But man, when it's hot as hell outside and you go to your refrigerator and pop ice out, you're never so happy to see that ice drop into your cup, fill up your water, and it's ice cold, and you take a drink. That's a very positive attribute of ice, right? Mm-hmm. So not that every situation is like that, but to really enjoy a nice, warm, sunny day, you got to kind of know what it's like to have a cold, crappy day. Well, South Dakota, we certainly know because it's 30 below, and then it's all of a sudden 100 during the summer. Mm-hmm. So, but maybe that's, where it's too hot too. So, but you got to learn how to find that right balance. E is for engagement. That feeling when you are so focused on the task that you lose all track of time and the world around you. This is known as engagement or flow. Discovering how you can use your strengths and skills to engage in your work and activities is incredibly valuable for a satisfying life. So I'm just starting to learn a little bit more about flow through some of the courses, and it is absolutely fascinating. But basically, anytime that you're working on something and it just seems like time flies by and you're focusing and you just have all the right answers, you're making all the right decisions, you're just flowing, that can be really, I think, cleansing for your mind too. You feel accomplished when things are done. Think about the times where you've gone to clean something and you completely organize the whole situation, or you feel like you just go to town and you post on social media, holy crap, I cleaned my whole house, laundry done, this done, you could easily go look around and go, oh God, I don't do anything around here, this is terrible, and spiral into being upset about how your home looks, or start chipping away at it, and boom, get into the flow. You got to engage. R is for positive relationships. We are created for meaningful connections with other humans. Strong relationships are essential for our well-being. So I think we're in that stage to some degree too. So it's really cool to me that throughout this podcast, I think we learn with our listeners, or we learn just a hair before them so we can help educate them. But, we've had crazy circles of friends over our time. I think we're learning more and more, which ones are uplifting or supportive, but everybody can be supportive in their own way too. So that's kind of a touchy and interesting subject, but the more that we meet people, the more that we just learn more about ourselves, I think. So you can just continue to evolve and, just be careful. Don't be so vulnerable that you hurt yourself. Or if you're going to be vulnerable, be prepared for, what comes. So M is for meaning. Using our gifts and talents in service of something greater than ourselves helps us provide with a sense of meaning and purpose in life. This is vital to flourishing. And A, the last one, accomplishment. It is a human need to be continually growing and achieving our goals. Without experiencing a sense of accomplishment, we will not be able to thrive in life. And then they go into how positive psychology can help working moms. A little bit of an article in there that capitalizes. But basically, an overview of what positive psychology is to help you become, more familiar with the term, and providing more research and practical strategies. It's like a scientific point of view in my mind to apply positive psychology in your life. And there are exercises like we can't say enough, little by little, I think I've gotten quite a bit more positive than I ever have been in my entire life. And, meditation's been around for hundreds of years and I've done it maybe 10 times, but it does really interest me. But positive psychology is all about focusing on strengths, virtues, purpose, and positivity. We aren't trying to deny or ignore the negative parts of life. Instead, we will shift our focus to the good to see how it can help us overcome challenges, improve circumstances, and live better in spite of the hard parts in life. So today, consider one positive aspect of your life that you're grateful for. Take some time to appreciate the good you already have. So, what's one of the most difficult things you've had to deal with as a mother?
Oh, man. Way to throw something at me.
Yep, crack it open.
Each stage has, its own sense of difficultness. When they're itty bitty and they're colicky, or they're having food allergies. That was Gianna right off the bat. Next stage is when they can't quite talk, and so you can't understand what's wrong and like why they're scared of something. So that brings its own. Now we've hit this teen, preteen, tween, whatever stage. And it's having the hard conversations, I think, is one thing. Having them getting into things on social media that they shouldn't, and having to have those hard conversations with the other parents and your child. All, can be stressful because you want to make sure you're doing it the right way and handling it the right way. So I don't know if there's like one exact. Having your kids get hurt too, that brings its own set of challenges.
Well, it doesn't have to be in a specific example, but what is one of the most difficult things as a parent? For me, it's to be a disciplinary figure and come down on them, whether I gave them a little spank or, what I did back in the day, yelled at them. Some of it could have been through my frustration already throughout my day, or something that they didn't necessarily deserve, but and then that immediate feeling of resentment, and I don't know, that was always really tough for me, because it was I don't know, that you can just absolutely would die for somebody and whatnot, but then in just an instance, your anger can be so powerful that you just flip a nut on your kid, and you think you're doing it for what's best for them in the future, which it is true. You're trying to teach them that, but I don't know. Wish we would have learned some of this stuff a long time ago, but here we are. Maybe somebody will listen to this before they have kids, and we've talked a lot about that stuff too in other episodes, so it's not just this.
Yeah, and it's like that fine line, especially, when you work so many hours in a day. And then it used to be, I would work longer in the day and I'd get home when they were little. And then I'd only get to see them for like an hour before they'd go to sleep. And then it was like, you hated being hard on them because that's the only memory that they're going to have of you is that 1 hour. And, they're going to sleep and it's just like, oh, mom was crabby again tonight. And it's like, that is like one of the hardest points. I think I've always worried about, are they going to grow up to hate me? Are they going to grow up to understand why I was hard on them on topics or on things and like why they didn't always get their way? Like, will they get it? Did I do good enough? Am I failing as a mom? Like those feelings are real. Mom guilt.
Yeah, but it is important still that you have to, you got to push through a lot of that stuff and you got to set boundaries and your children have to know that there's rules and there is something to be said that you're disciplining them for the future so that they can make the right decisions and know right from wrong and things like that. But yeah, that can be different depending on how everybody is. I would like to mention, have a quick gratitude moment that it's almost 9 o'clock here and the sun is just going down. And now I need a window from here to here so I can see it, because now I could pretend see it with the think positive, be positive, stay positive you have here, which is kind of strategically placed where the tree would be. So I can see on the right side where there's this tiny little window that it is orange and going down. So I just have to, yeah. So anyways.
They can understand what you're all talking about with your hands, and
we're getting close.
Talking about our canvas picture. And
if you're an avid listener, you know what's up. So, PERMA, that's the model by Martin Seligman.
That article gave us, those few tips on how to be able to release stress, stay more positive as a mom. We talked about, I even just mentioned mom guilt. And the one thing I had to overcome is that when the girls were little, I never hardly did anything. Okay. If I did, it was like I'd be gone for a few hours, I'd come home. I didn't go anywhere. I never was gone overnight. I was always afraid. Like Steve and I didn't even go anywhere for like a weekend usually or on a vacation because I felt like you couldn't leave them. And then I went on my first girls trip without the kids and without Steve back. Oh man, what is that? 9 years ago? And I'm going to tell you what. How refreshing and good for the soul that is to be able to go out, have time with your girlfriends, relax your mind, not have to worry about being mom all the time and turning it off. Like the dad's got it, right? Like they've got this, or the grandmas, whoever you're with or your friends, whoever you're trusting your children with, they've got this. And so now as, the girls have gotten older, I have gotten better. I go on girls' weekends. I go on vacation. It's all those things because it's not about leaving them. It's about getting to reset and recharge your soul. Because if you aren't taking care of you and looking out for you in those things, you're not going to be able to take care of them because you can't take care of them with a burnt candle, And then the next thing is, I work at a clothing boutique time and time again. And I was the same thing as these women. They come in, they've barely shopped for themselves. I was wearing way oversized sweatshirts and clothes, heaven forbid, even underwear down to your jeans. And like I wasn't taking care of myself. It was like I would worry about spending money on the kids' clothes, and I was just roaming around looking like I didn't care. And then you kind of feel crappy about yourself when you get to things and being like, oh, well, these moms are like dressed up and I'm over here in my hoodie that's 4 sizes too big. Like I don't care. And then I remember I wore regular clothes, but I was dressed like nice. And I had a lady go, oh man, you're so gussied up today. And I was like, oh. And then they complimented me. And then I started going, I do feel better about me. And like, it boosts my confidence when I know I'm taking care of me and wearing clothes that fit better and all those things. And so it's making sure that you are prioritizing yourself some too. Like, we know that our spouses are important, and so it's like the family, God, family, work, I understand the whole thing, but making sure that you are in that list of your priority, that you're not getting the back burn, so that you are doing self-care, massages, and different things like that to help you relax and stay on top of your A game.
Yeah, and I think it's really important too that, it kind of reminds me of something that we used to argue about back in the day, and we're going to face it right now on the episode that I abused the time I went out with my friends because I wasn't having to do some of the mom duties, if you will, with the children. But also, at the same token, if I wouldn't have abused some of those situations, I did always keep an open line of communication with the circle of friends that I did have. So I wasn't just always sitting around waiting for them to reach out to me. And now knowing that Catherine's mindset was that, she didn't want to take that time for herself and her kids and, in a sense, almost abandon them, that she didn't keep those lines of communication open to her friends. And so as I was going out more and more, that also created, I don't know if envy is the right word, she can speak on this, but then it was more like angry, for sure, lashing out at me because I was always going out with my friends, which, as I prefaced, I did abuse at times. But, we're in a situation now where if I hung out with some friends or had this or that going on, I was gone 2-3 nights during the week. She realizes what's up and so on. Plus our lines of communication are so much different and all that good stuff too. But I believe that she can attest to that, there will be a point in your life where, if you want to have friendship, or you do believe that even though you've had this baby for however months, I don't know, whenever you feel comfortable, that, you do have to keep these lines of communications open up with your friends and ask them what they're doing and ask them to go and hang out, so that you don't just eventually say, well, I don't have any friends, and you're always going out and blah, blah, blah. So dudes, or whatever parent, don't abuse that. And also, for the other side of the token, keep those lines of communication open.
Yeah, I think I had animosity towards you for it. It was like, I felt like you were almost abandoning us, and you were just dumping it on me, like expecting me to be the parent, and that you didn't have to. Maybe part of it was jealousy that your friendships got to go on like nothing else. With ladies, depends on what stage of the game you're in, depends on what stage of the game your friends are in. When I got pregnant, our friends at the time, with our first especially, nobody was really having kids. I mean, we had one that they had a couple, but I didn't have like friends all pregnant at the same time, really experiencing those same life things. Okay. And then when you're a nursing mom, we're just going to be blunt. The guys still get to go out. The guys still get to party. Your friends are still partying, and you're maybe not, because of being cognizant of that. And I kid you not, I finally went out for the first couple times, and guess what happened? I got pregnant again. So then my whole cycle started all over again. So it was like I had a couple of friends, but you aren't getting to experience all that life is offering to your other circle of friends, depending upon your stage you're in. And I had some friends that still included me on things, and I still like hung out, and went out. But there was some friends that, because you couldn't partake in certain activities, just thought you were going to be a drag. So it goes both ways. It's not just because this pregnant or new mom isn't, wanting to do things. Sometimes it's that those that do not understand are non-inclusive then. So choosing your circle of people is a big deal. Having that communication with your spouse about, I need a break to go out for 2 hours. if you would stay home is a big deal. Communication is key on both sides.
So, I feel confident concluding A Mother's Positivity episode.
Mommy.
An episode for mommies. About mommies, by a mommy, for mommies. And I'm along the ride as a daddy.
Mommies and a Poppies? Is that a band?
Maybe we'll do an FD episode too in a month or so. But anyways, birthday month too. Woo. Okay, you feel good about life or this episode, I mean?
I'm feeling better about life.
Well, yeah. This helps every week.
It does.
And yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there, folks. So be part of it. If you do listen weekly, there'll be 2 episodes dropping before we drop we stop the pre-order. That'll be May 23rd. Feel free to order some merch. Like we said, we got a little over $300. And so now we can officially assist someone with finding a counselor. We'll hook you up with the first couple of sessions to get you rolling, and in the hopes that you have connected and found a way to continue fighting your own mental illness or rehab. So I'm open to that situation as well. Legitimate. So
I would say not necessarily mental illness, but just because you seek therapy doesn't mean you're ill.
Well, as we talked about in the last that last kind of May is mental health, that there are so many people that struggle with mental illness, and there are so many different levels of it. So, yeah, I mean, whatever you're struggling with, if you don't want to label it as mental illness, but there are, I mean, even if you're 1% mentally ill, that's, I guess what it is, just like you're physically ill. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean that we have to amputate your leg, or in the sense of your brain, you have to cut something out. It's just giving you the tools to repair that illness.
Here you go. So yes, like we've said, we are not selling merch to line our pockets. It is literally trying to create a fund in order to continue to help make an impact and a difference in those that are needing assistance. So that's what the merch is all about.
Yes. So thank you all for your support. We appreciate it. We'll try to make it cool and look good so you can spread positivity, advertise for us a little bit, tell people what we're all about, and just be part of the change that's helping others destigmatize and, just stay positive. And we'll keep trying to find unique ways to help you with your positivity. So thank you all very much. Ready? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Until next time, folks. Thank you all from the bottom of our hearts for listening to the Positively Midwest podcast. Our hope is to inspire, engage each other's thoughts, and leave you with some great advice. Be sure to join our Facebook group and follow us on Instagram at Positively Midwest Podcast. Make sure you like, comment, share, and screenshot our podcast with all your cool friends. Every little bit helps. We're on most all major platforms, and you can stream it on our website at positivelymidwest.com. Thank you, and as always, please always stay positive. Woo!